Hello, Dr. Abhinand. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today on this small series of my campaign called I Am Possible and SMAART. August being the SMA Awareness Month, let me use this month to the fullest to bring all the rock stars in our community and get people to talk about, the awareness on inclusivity in general in our society, apart from the SMA awareness that so many of us are working on. So thank you for joining me today.
I'm 35 years old and I have SMA type 3, but genotypically I must have been a SMA type 2 actually, because I just have 2 copy numbers of my SMN2 gene. So it was kind of a genetic miracle that I was able to walk even for the short duration of my life that I was able to. I stopped walking by the time I was 12 years old. For a brief while, I was even able to play gully cricket with my friends. By the time I was 12 years old, I was falling down frequently. I was having multiple fractures repeatedly. I had a compound fracture of my upper arm. And then a kind of fear set in that if I walk, I will fall down. By the time I was in middle of my 9th grade, I had stopped walking altogether.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did this sort of transition happen over a period of time, Abhinand, or was it like
over a period of 4 years? Slowly. I was a fast walker, then I became a slow walker. Then I could only hold my mother's hand and walk, or hold a walker or the wall to support me. Then I stopped walking altogether. Actually, when I was little, my parents knew something was wrong with me, but they were not able to make a clear-cut diagnosis. I mean, the neurologists back then also had limited means to diagnose SMA.
Right.
We didn't have the MLPA genetic testing back then. My neurologist, I mean, they were pretty clear that I had some kind of muscular atrophy or dystrophy. Then they went for muscle biopsy and EMG.
Got it.
Those were the 2 diagnostic tests available back then. By the time I was 10 years old, they made a perfect diagnosis of SMA type 3. Luckily, we had some experts who had come down to Chennai from the US for a neurology conference, and my neurologist was generous in taking me and making me meet those doctors from US.
So Abhinand, tell me one thing. Now you are an adult, right? And I'm a parent of an SMA 12-year-old child, right? I don't know how Kia, my daughter, really honestly feels about SMA or being diagnosed with SMA. She's not able to express as yet, right? But if you had to express, how has your life been living with SMA? How would you want to describe it?
So as a very young child, I did not understand what SMA was.
Obviously.
I had no idea, but I knew that I cannot walk as fast as my friends could, or I couldn't run around with them. I tried doing that and I've fallen down many times. I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing. I went to a normal school just like any other kid in the locality, because that was the only school that was available.
Understand.
So that became like advantage to me, because I was able to be with other children, and I didn't understand the enormity of the problem that I was going to face when I was an adult. My childhood was kind of blissful, except for the fact that I would fall down often and have several injuries. I actually have a torn lip. Actually, because of a mustache, you might not be able to see it. I have 4 stitches put on there when I was 6 years old.
Ouch. Okay.
So I would fall down quite often. I would bleed. I would have a fracture. But other than that, my life was not so bad. I mean, my childhood was pretty a happy one. So the toughest period of my life would have been my mid-teens. 13 to 19, 13 to 18 maybe. Those were the toughest times of my life, because that's when I found myself missing out on some of the fun activities that my friends could do. Like I could not go on my school excursion. Back then I used to have severe bouts of asthma.
Okay.
So I would have breathlessness in the middle of the school. So my teachers were also apprehensive in taking me for the school tour. They were scared that something might happen to me. They were worried
Understand.
about it. The time I went to college, I mean, I graduated from high school and went to college. I had kind of started understanding what SMA can do and how I need to mentally adjust so that I'm not mentally traumatized on a daily basis. I started seeing things a little more positively. I mean, it was a self-adjustment from my own side.
Okay.
Back then, we didn't have the idea of going to maybe a psychological counselor or a consultation. Mother, grandmother, and my sister, the three important ladies in my life. So they have made a huge difference in my life. My father was odd in the sense he was always the over-optimistic person. Maybe he wanted not to understand SMA. He was always having this false optimism that my son would stand up and walk and run someday.
So he didn't accept the truth.
He didn't accept it all until he died.
And that's so difficult to live with, right? That expectation of somebody not accepting it and thinking that this is not real.
Some doctor, some medication, some God man.
I can imagine.
Some Baba would come and heal me. That's what he believed in. My mother was more of a realist. She kind of understood the reality. But it was my sister with whom I could converse and understand the world better with.
Is she younger to you or elder to you?
Elder to me. 8 years older to me.
Oh, that's nice. So you have a mother figure in her as well.
Yeah. And my grandmother was my closest companion during those troubled years.
How has your mindset been as far as your approach to life? How ambitious were you? I know you finished your doctorate in bioinformatics. So did this insight come to you that I have to be financially independent early in life, or how did you develop as you were growing up?
I was always fascinated by biological sciences. So I wanted to have a career in biology. But a lot of my close family, they were like, no, you take up computer science. You can become a programmer. You can work in a software company. That would be suitable for somebody on a wheelchair. My mother was the one who stood by me. She was the one who gave me the positivity to go on and have a career in life sciences. But one setback in my life, which was very disheartening, was I wanted to be a doctor. Unfortunately, I got a mail from the Tamil Nadu Medical Council saying that because I have a 90% disability, I wouldn't be eligible to become a doctor. I mean, now I understand the logic behind that, the rationale behind it. But back then, my heart was not accepting it. When some of the leading colleges where I got admission, they were reluctant to take me in. I got admission in a pretty small college. The total strength of that college itself was only about 450 students at that time. It was a very small college. But they were ready to look into my passion. I mean, they did not discriminate. They accepted me.
Understood.
I'm thankful to them. The college name was Kumara Rani Meena Muttaya College. Incidentally, I met the owner of the college herself on the day of my admission. While the principal was actually reluctant, the owner was like, no, we are taking this boy. Let him do what his heart desires. Because I was able to finish my undergrad, I was able to get admission into a very big university for my post-graduation. They wanted a physical eligibility certificate from a neurologist. And my neurologist was very happy to give that. I mean,
understand.
Otherwise, they looked only at my academics. So the place where I did my master's, that's the same place where I completed my post-graduation. It's the same university I'm working in now. I've been part of the same institution for the past 15 years. Sri
Excellent.
Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research.
So you're a part of the family now.
I
Okay.
wanted to be a genetist. But the problem is genetics involves a lot of wet lab experiments.
Okay.
Like you have to be in the laboratory for long hours,
Hmm.
which is not physically possible for me.
Hmm.
So the next alternative was to do bioinformatics. Bioinformatics is taking the data from those genetic experiments and then making sense of the data.
Analyzing it.
Analyzing.
So going forward, Abhinand, what is it that you want to do? Or are you at a place where you have made peace, ki, this is where I want to be for the rest of it? I'm sure it's not that. I'm sure you have been thinking about doing something else. So is there something that you want to speak out about what your future beholds for you?
I want to travel more. I would have loved to do a postdoctoral research in some Ivy League university across the world. Maybe some place like Max Planck or Harvard or some place like that.
How do you feel about crowdfunding? Do you think it's the right approach, Abhinand? Do you think that already, suffering from a disease as enormous as this, right, which is already so difficult to live with the government expecting you to crowdfund for your treatment, and this is not like a few lakhs, right? It's a lifetime treatment, year-on-year expenditure of close to 1 crore.
Crowdfunding experience is not a pleasant one by any means.
I can agree. Same here.
I have seen people running for the hills when they see me. The first year of medication I was able to buy from crowdfunding. And the subsequent 1 year, actually my mother's cousin, he and his family have been generous in supporting me for the last 1 year, which is actually a huge thing. I mean, it's not possible for one person or one family to do that help.
Correct.
So
it's not possible even for 10 people to do this, right? I think somewhere, unless the medication is subsidized and brought within reach, Abhinand, where each of us can earn and buy it off the shelf.
And right? I'm somebody who earns like 5 to 6 lakhs a year. And with that earning, it's never going to be possible to buy the medication on my own.
Correct. Do you know my condition? Let me reveal the horror story on this side. So I am an architect by profession, right? And did everything right in my life. Okay, did not do anything wrong. I just made the mistake of choosing, I think, the wrong life partner because when Kia was diagnosed, within 4 years, my husband abandoned us. Left me with both my girls. In spite of that, I continued to work because had to provide for my kids, right? SMA was not my worry at that point of time. What was my worry was to get food on the table, okay, for me and the 2 little girls I had. So I tried to work as long as I could, knowing that Kia's condition was worsening day by day, right? So imagine leaving behind a child who needed all the physical support and still having to go and sit and work, right? Not knowing how she's going to manage her daily activities, her school, etc., because you know how maids are, caregiver situation in the country, it's all known to you. But anyway, when Kia's scoliosis set in, that's when her sitting ability was being taken away by the disease. That's when I had to put my papers down, give up my job, and now it's been almost 4 years with absolutely zero to zilch income, as I call it. So, having through the pandemic, you couldn't do much. Post the pandemic, we got Kia's surgery completed for her spine. And then, I've always, alongside my work life, tried different entrepreneurial, exercises, because I knew someday that, life is going to get to this point where Kia cannot be left alone because it was a progressive disease. And that time, nobody had an insight that there'll be a drug and those kind of things, right? So
now she's on risdiplam.
Now she's on risdiplam. Her crowdfunding has been able to support 2 years of her treatment. And I'm still with her at home because she needs, obviously her, percentage of disability has increased. She's almost 85%, stationary in her body. She's not able to move most of her body right now. Her spine is fused. So right now I'm cooking meals. I'm selling tiffins from home. So I've got a food startup, and that's how I'm trying to manage. And I don't know how the government of our country expects families like ours to manage, right? Where even the regular source of income does not, exist, and our own families are abandoning us. I don't know how the government of the country can't see through the social fabric, right? We are not such a progressive nation that the society is benevolent and open-hearted, and people with challenges are accepted. So a lot of blaming, cursing that you're responsible for the child's condition is what I faced personally as a mother of the child. So that's feasible. What I'm trying to only say is that whether it is an earning family or a non-earning family, even with a family with two members earning, right? If it's a middle class family and there is a child or an adult requiring this scale financially expensive treatment, it's not possible for them to afford it. It's as simple as that. Unless the drug prices are brought down, made accessible, or we get insurance support like the way we get outside, in countries like US, UK, and other countries, I don't think this drug
Actually, leave alone RISD plan. Insurance, other normal insurance is also not available for SMA.
Exactly. Just because you are diagnosed with a genetic disorder, you can't get any support from an insurance company.
But I'm grateful that my employer made a special case for me, and they're giving me a 5 lakh insurance every year.
Each of us, right? Each of us can do with this kind of help. That's what I'm trying to say. And that is what, the world needs. It needs people to change, right? These little norms. And then maybe if many people start doing it, the societal change can come and take place right in front of us. So, coming to one of my last questions for this session, Abhinand, what do you want to ask? What is your major ask? Are you only going to ask funds for growing the the kitty for SD palm that you're on, which is the medication, or do you have a bigger list of asks?
The thing I wish for is for the government of India to get onto the table with the pharma company and subsidize the cost so that the drug price comes to a affordable rate. First thing I wish for is for the government of India to get. Second thing I would wish for is government intervention in making sure that all kids with SMA get their insurance, medical insurance. I hope that happens. Simple things like a total GST waiver on Risdiplam has not been achieved so far. That's
even the smallest thing like that. Absolutely.
I sincerely believe that every man, every woman in this country and across the world can make a tiny difference to the lives of thousands of people with SMA. It's one man, one woman, one small thing at one time can make an enormous difference to the world, I guess.
They say that 1 in 40 people are carriers of SMA, right? In the world, there are 1 in 40 people who are walking the planet and are carriers of the disease. Imagine if at least 1 in 40 people can make a contribution, right, to an SMA fund of any child they know in their society, or they can find, right, in their society, and they can support. The world population, we all know, is massive. I think we will, we can wait for the government norms, we can wait for the waivers, we can wait for the insurance companies to come forward. But if people of our country, be it people across the world, if all of us come forward to support each other, I don't think people like us who are suffering, right, who are seeing our children suffer or self-suffering, will have to wait for funds. Because if somebody has an extra drop to share of support, they don't lose anything by it, right? We're not asking for massive donations. We're not asking to, pour in lakhs and lakhs of money. We're just asking more people to get empathetic and start contributing to, members of the society who are deserving, who are, actually not challenged in any other way but physically, and their diseases are progressive in nature. Time is not waiting for them, right? They need to understand that time is of crisis here, right? If they take so much of time to think about helping another person, maybe that person or the child or that human being may not be alive by the time that help comes to them. I think that much of awareness if people have, and if they can come forward, the world can itself be a better place to live in for all of us. And one more pray, if I may add to this, Abhinand. I don't know how you feel about being included in the society today, but I feel that in our country, with all the development happening in the industrial sector, in the technology sector, our infrastructure is improving. We see a lot of metro lines, and we're seeing a lot of fancy airports coming up. But what about ramps, right? What about ramps for entering buildings? What about movement measures being implanted into design of buildings, public spaces where people on wheelchair can move around? I'm just asking a simple question. It's how difficult is it for the government to at least ensure that these are in place? You can give all the waivers and everything else, in time after, discussing in the legislative assemblies. But these are simple things, right? Which doesn't take too much of anybody's effort. The taxpayers are giving them the money. So simple things like this are possible. And that is where change begins, right? So it's happening. I'm not saying it's not happening. It's happening in bits and pieces. But I think as a country, if we can see governance getting more involved in creating a more inclusive society, I think it will be a beautiful place. Yeah. Who doesn't like to go out for a walk in the park? Tell me. Okay, who doesn't like some fresh air? I'm tired of being cooped up, okay, with my daughter on the wheelchair inside the house, not being able to take her out. That's my frustration. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think we should be able to move around freely. Nothing is nothing. We're not villains. We've not done anything wrong. Okay, we are not at fault for what has happened to us. So that is my last two praise that I would want to add. So Abhinand, I know you're crowdfunding for SD Plum. Would you want to leave a message for people to support you? I will definitely post your link for the donation along with the post.
With the help of thousands of people, I got access to this diploma for the first year. And after that, my uncle and aunt, Sundar Rajan and Rajshri, they have supported me for the next 1 year. But this is not going to be sustainable unless I get help from more and more people. And this help is necessary for me to keep getting access to this diploma so that I can keep working, keep working towards my dream. And teaching is my passion. I teach about 1,000 children a year, students. So I wish I can keep doing that. And I'm a small-time researcher also. So I want to keep my research career going on. So it's possible only with the benevolence and kindness of the people out there. So kindly support me, kindly help me. Thank you so much.
Kindly help Dr. Abhinand. Like he said, he is contributing his share to the society. I don't think this is a better way to put it. If somebody in his condition, in his state of challenge, can come out of his comfort level and go to his workplace every single day to contribute to the society, it's my sincere urge that people please come forward. It's not going to take a lot out of your wallets. We just need many of you to come forward. That's all we need. We just need many good-hearted people to come forward and help Dr. Abhinand to arrest this disease. He deserves a life. He deserves to live. He deserves to live happily, okay, not with the stress that can the medication go on and on for him. And to the Government of India, to all the people who are policy makers and change makers out there, I think, sirs, madams, please listen to us. I think, we're not going to make crying videos of the series. Nobody's shedding a tear, but, there is a war going out of this heart, right? There's a mother on one side. There is a person on the other side who's suffering from the disease. And we are good people. We've always been, timely taxpayers of the country. We've abided by law. We've not done anything wrong. And we've never caused anybody harm. So the little that we ask for is your support. It's not such a rare disease.
500 in India. One in 6,000.
Exactly. It's more. It's more now. That's what the latest statistics say. Yes. So please make screening, pre-born screening, a must. If cure is so expensive, then prevention has to be the key. This is what we believe in. And for those who are unlucky like us, we need your support. There is no other way so for this. So thank you so much, Dr. Abhinand, for coming forward in such a short notice.
Thank you, madam.
And I hope we can all keep contributing a bit here. Thank you so much. God bless you,
Thank you.
and stay happy always. A lot of regards for your family, especially mom, grandmom, and sister.